thought it wasn't going to go. I was sitting there saying, I'm starting, but wasn't actually starting. So, yay, here we are live, inside again, because it's windy out. It's not cold, but it's windy. So we're inside with the rocks. What a tragedy! And today it's all quartz. This is one of the very first rocks I ever actually went and bought. And clearly it's quartz, and clearly it's clear. Morning, Linda! And it, you know, it's very polished, it's very manufactured. But, you know, I didn't understand about fugly stones in those days. Morning, Nora! And it's beautiful. And I really enjoy this one. I always have, I always will. And it'll outlast me. Isn't that a thought? It's much older than I am. Or rather, I should say, it's much older than this body. It's probably not as old as I am. There you go. Just getting a bit philosophical for a minute. Now this, while polished, is definitely what some would call a fugly stone. Funny and ugly, right? It's not perfect. It's not perfect at all. Morning, Sanjay! But isn't it fabulous? Clearly this is a quartz point. But it's a very strange and unusual one, and it's grown, you know, it's grown in layers. There you can see, this is the bottom, so you can see the sort of guesstimate of part of a hexagonal crystal. So you've got all this interesting sort of fractured and reflective part in here, and there's actually rainbows in there, which I think you can probably see. And it's just wherever you look at it, there's so much going on. I never get tired of this one. I never get tired of any of them, but this one you can turn over and over and over. And then, you know, it's all sort of misty and foggy. You can see the layers. It's beautiful. Timothy, good morning. So, you know, I do not get tired of this one. That's clearly the top of the crystal. You can see it really is half of it. So it must have been rough as when it was mined or harvested or whatever it was. And it was polished up, which I always feel a bit sort of mixed about the fact that crystals get polished, because if you think about the fact that if this thing has a consciousness, morning John, and it's aware, morning Julian, and then, you know, you've been growing for thousands and thousands of years or however long it is, and then somebody just picks you up and says, oh, I'm going to take a polishing stone to you and change your shape. Wouldn't that be a bit of a shock? So I always have mixed feelings about it, but you got to say, whether the rock agreed or not, it's kind of got used to its shape now, and it knows it's appreciated, and here it is, and we get to love it. So there you go. Last but not least, this, we're going from really, you know, apparently perfect to really fugly. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing piece of quartz and a whole lot of other stuff. And I have forgotten where it comes from. I'm going to have to ask my friend Jenny. So this is quartz. The green stuff that you can see on it is epidote. And there's quite a lot of epidote there. On the back and all over the place. This is calcite. You can see the structure of the calcite crystals there. I think that's more quartz there. See that blue sort of blade of something? We don't know what that is. We have no idea. Something that's a bit micaceous. What else have we got? There's a bit of hematite in this red part. Well, maybe. We're not sure. You know, when your friend who knows all about crystals says, I don't know, you know that it's an amazing rock. And again, it's one that you can just turn over and over and over. Hi, Holly. Good morning. Don't know what this stuff is either. I think she told me, but I can't remember. And it's just beautiful. There is something else. I know she told me. I know this is hematite, this brown stuff. Hematite's all kinds of iron. And good morning to everyone who's watching. Facebook doesn't tell me who you all are, but it's lovely to have you with us. Just sharing this crazy rock with you. Yeah, it's just glorious. So, and you know, this point you can kind of see into a bit. Lee, good morning, beautiful. Look, it's got stuff inside it. So yeah, it's another one that you can just turn over and over and keep seeing things. Never gets boring. Who wants a perfect crystal when you can have one like that? So I got carried away. So today I really felt that I wanted to build on what we talked about and what we actually did yesterday. And I wanted to go more into love, right? Because and I got a surprise because 400 mumble views on the video the last time I looked. It's like normally I get 200 something. I must have struck a nerve. Everybody wants more love, and here's the thing: there is always more love if you know how to connect with it. And it's not about having a soulmate, although that helps, really does. Because I have a soulmate. I live with my soulmate. Yeah, fortunate, lucky, whatever. We set it up that way. But you can be with a soulmate or a twin flame or whatever it is you call it. I get really personally quite, oh, for God's sake, who cares what the name is? Slice and dice the different labels. Somebody that you feel very, very connected to, with. But if you're not whole, and if you don't love you, it doesn't matter how wonderful that connection is. You cannot take two busted up people, two unwhole people, two incoherent people, and put them together and have them somehow complete and fix each other. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. That's why you see all these websites and groups and conversations dedicated to people who have soulmates or twin flames, and there's all this shit goes on between them. Having a really powerful connection with somebody does not mean that you're going to be in bliss together. It just means that you have a really powerful connection, and whoever you are and whatever they are, and whoever they are and whatever you are, gets to really intersect. Good, bad, or indifferent. Gia Polaris, it's lovely to see you. So, your first love is you. And however you love yourself is how you love everybody else. And however you think everybody else loves or doesn't love you is, if you're grown up, let's never mind children, okay? That's a different situation. If you're grown up, if you're sort of, even in your late teens, sort of from mid-teens on, how people relate to you is really how you relate to yourself. Janine, it's beautiful to see you. And that's powerful, and it's like, oh, really? For some of us. Really? And if you find yourself surrounded by conflict, I mean really, surrounded by conflict, or surrounded by sorrow, or surrounded by difficulty, or whatever it is, Abigail! Somehow, in your connection with your beingness of yourself, that's what's going on. Because it wouldn't be out there if it wasn't in here. Which is, and my brain is saying, Maddie, are you sure about this? Maybe you're just digging a bloody great hole and jumping into it. Shovel the shit on me, please. Because there's always a situation where somebody really is doing the best they can to love themselves, and still there's all this crap around them. And so saying that whatever's outside you is a reflection of what's inside you does not mean that you are wandering around, not paying attention, not doing your best. And some of you live in extremely trying circumstances. That's not a reflection on you either. Okay? You don't choose to live in a city where there's lockdown and there's tremendous difficulty with COVID-19 and all that stuff. Presumably, unless you were born there and you've never been able to get out for whatever reason, you did choose to come there. So it's something, But you didn't necessarily consciously say, I want to be in that really, really difficult situation. However, the experience that we create within whatever we are in is our creation. And that's a big thing to swallow. It really is. Like, oh God, really? Anyway, sometimes I feel a bit brave saying this stuff, and I don't start off intending to say this stuff, but this is what I hold to be true for myself. And And sometimes I think, well, Maddie, it's easy for you to say, here you are sitting in your home, which you own, and you're not facing tremendous need and you're not facing tremendous sickness, and who the hell are you to say that? Well, this is who the hell I am, Love it, hate it, use it if it's useful, forget it if it's not. You don't have to agree with me. I guess I needed to say that in case anyone thinks I'm just, talking out of a hole in my ass and I don't know anything. Well, I know some things. I know what works for me. So, you are your first love, and how you love yourself fundamentally is how you love others. And also, how others are able to love you. Pretty much. Period. Maggiano, it's great to see you. Pretty much period. And I really can speak about this from absolute experience. And I'll tell you a bit of a story. I've got to keep it shorter. We'll never actually do anything useful with this, and the doing and the practice is what I'm interested in. So you may remember that a few weeks, however long ago it was, 65 lifetimes now, I talked about this lovely 15-minute meditation that Joe Dispenza created for his community called Go Love 20. And in this meditation, in short, you get heart-centered and then you bring another person into your heart. And the whole idea is that, we've got COVID-19, let's have Go Love 20, let's spread love, let's spread elevated emotions, let's spread caring so that people are encouraged to get out of stress and into love, because that's going to help your immunity, period. It does, it really does, instantly, immediately. You get out of stress, you get into love, you get into gratitude, you get into a more elevated emotion, your body appreciates that. So, let's do something practical, see why I love this man. So, beautiful meditation. I didn't even tackle it for a couple of weeks. Firstly, because I didn't quite know where to put it in my life. Because, time is quite sort of tight. That's the wrong word, but anyway, I'm not going to explain it. There's not a lot of spare time. And also, I felt a deep resistance. And what I found when I got into doing it was, I resist this because it's painful. Because I'd shut down my heart. And I made a deep decision a couple of weeks ago now, Nefertiti, good morning, to sit down and do this meditation with my mother. Now, my mother did the very best she could with what she had. She was not abusive. We had wonderful support in my family, awesome, really. And yet my heart was slammed shut. And nothing really to do with her. She had a very difficult childhood herself. She did not pass that on, at least not intentionally. She loved me best she could. She loved me better than her mother was able to love her. But still, my heart was slammed shut. And I discovered all the pain that I had to let go of to be able to. I made a conscious choice. I've got to let my mother into my heart. Because if I don't, I'm only hurting me. And I'm locking out abundance, I'm locking out healing, I'm locking out joy, I'm locking out everything that I want in life. I have to do this. So I got really determined. And there's a lot of pain. Again, I stress, not her fault. Mine. I so created that. In the process of that, I remembered all the things that she did do that were lovely, which I had edited out. We edit our brains. Hi, Jen. Some research been done. 50% of your memories of the past, you've made them up. So have I. We do that. We get creative because we have a view, a perception of how our lives are, and we make our memories endorse that. And I suddenly had this realization, oh my God, yeah, right. Anyway, so I opened my heart, finally, and I'm still practicing it, and it still brings me to tears, but it doesn't hurt as much. And a few days later, when I rang her just for my, regular call conversation time to ring her up, because I keep in touch twice a week, God, it used to be hard. I've healed. It's a lot easier. I actually enjoy it now. And that morning, she'd had this weird turn and she'd remembered all this pain from her childhood. And then she said, I completely sort of lost it for a while, but it only took me half an hour to get myself back together. Now, she has dementia, so she can really get in a spin because her brain gets very incoherent. And I said to her, well, because she was different and she noticed I was different. She noticed it. And she said that, and I said, well, I think you're noticing the fact that I have done some really deep changes in myself. And then I explained to her, I said, I think you're noticing that. And I explained to her, if you have like two water molecules and they're together, there is an energetic, there's energy that holds those water molecules together. Or, the H2O, the two hydrogens and the oxygen, that's better. There are energetic bonds between those atoms that make the molecule. They share that energy and it binds them together. The pain is the same. Love is the same. Any emotion that people share binds them together. And so I explained to her, and this is quantum physics, I explained to her that if you have two people and they share pain, and one of those people manages to let go of the pain, to break their bonds to that pain, the bond actually disappears for the other person too. And the other person doesn't have to be conscious of it to feel it. I mentioned this at the end yesterday. And she said, and she was still quite teary because all of that pain was still sort of processing through her body. And she said, I think you're right. And since then, since that day, we have been having entirely different conversations. Kathy, good morning. It's different because I made a really conscious choice out of love for myself to open my heart, which means, first of all, which is what I wanted to get to, loving myself enough to do what I need to do to receive. You've got to be able to receive from yourself if you're going to be able to receive anything from anybody. So, before we completely run out of time, let's pick up where we left off yesterday, because that felt really powerful. And it's really good to practice, okay? And everything's better the second time, and the third time, and the fourth time, and the fifth time. This is like a good wine. It gets better. So please, remember, you have a heart center. You have a breastbone, and inside your body, if you drop your awareness, you're paying attention, you're sensing, into the center of your chest, behind your breastbone. Good, I can feel that. Drop it in. And just, and we're not about noticing the fact that you have a physical organ in there that's pumping. We're about noticing the energy, the space that's in the center of your chest. Okay, I can feel that. See, it's a little bit easier the next time. I hope that some of you actually did go away and practice with this, because it's powerful. It's so good. Drop your attention in there and start to breathe in and out through that center. Remember, that's the next step. Oh, wow, you guys have gotten good at this. It's not my imagination. So get your breath going. Now, you might like to just breathe in and out of the front of your heart center. But if you want to get adventurous, try breathing in and out of the back as well. At the same time, mind you, breathing in and out. You can even try breathing in and out the sides of you. Your heart center goes in all directions, like a star or a sun. It goes everywhere. It's not really front and back. Oh, that's good. You guys are good at this. And you know how I said yesterday that you can imagine that as you breathe in, someone else who's practicing the same thing, and there are many people all around the world all the time doing this stuff, they're breathing out love and you're breathing it in. And as you breathe out the love that you just breathed in, they breathe it in. And you can feel connected with them like that way. So we did that yesterday. Now play with this. Play with this. Stay with me. Keep your attention in the center of your chest, in the space in there, and breathe in and out of it. Just bring your attention, awareness back to yourself. Now, and I can feel this. Please do this without thinking much. A version of you from the past or the future, I don't mind which, and it's already arrived. Please don't think about this. Just put that self either in front of you, or maybe beside you, wherever you like, or inside your heart. It's up to you. Whatever feels right. I'm giving you choices because I get the sense that everyone's different. Some of you won't want that self in your heart. Some of you will. Find a comfortable place to hold that self in your awareness. Notice I'm not saying visualize them. I'm saying hold that self in your awareness. And then as you breathe, breathe the love that you've been practicing to that self and from that self. So you're connecting now with that self. You're giving that self some love. Now don't expect it necessarily to immediately be breathing love with you. Just let it be, however it wants to be. Hold that self in that love. And you keep breathing. And you might feel some stuff, or you might feel nothing. That's okay. Doesn't matter. Just keep doing the work. What you are doing is creating a heart connection with that self and just being present with it. And the more you focus on your heart and you focus on the breath and you focus on the whatever it is you want to send to that self. Maybe you want to say, thank you for surviving all that shit. It was tough. Wow, you were brave. Oh my goodness, you're amazing. How the hell did you do that? If it's a past self that had a really hard time, or if it's a future self that you want to draw to yourself. Oh, wow, you did it. You're awesome. I love you. You made it. Whatever you want to feel with this you. You see? And the important thing is that you start to build and feel the connection with the self. That's the important thing as you breathe in and out. Now this is powerful, and I can see the clock has telling me I spent too much time enjoying the rocks with you. But I can feel you. I can feel you making this connection with yourself. And you see, when you can make this connection with yourself and you can practice it and you can keep on doing it, the quality of that connection is never going to be any different from the quality of that connection that you can have with others. And you can practice the same exercise with another person. And it doesn't have to be somebody that you feel fantastic about. It can actually be someone you find really difficult. You just unconditionally breathe the love in and out. Trust it that their stuff is not going to be able to reach you if you're focusing on love. It's the ultimate protection. Don't need to put up a shield or a barrier or any of that stuff. You just focus on love and being coherent in that. You can do this with really difficult people. And just like the people that love you, just like my mother, they will feel it. So this is powerful stuff. And I invite you to play with it. Pat, it's just lovely to see you pop up on my screen just in time for me to say hi and I love you and goodbye, all of you. It got to be Friday again. It's been an amazing week in all kinds of ways. I can't tell you, but maybe you can feel it. Thank you so much for joining with us. Thank you so much for participating. I have seen none of your comments. Clearly, the Facebook angel is saying, Maddie, focus on what you're doing. I would love to know what you've noticed. I'd love to know what you're feeling. I would love to know what problems you had so we can address them later. I would love to know if you've had some, if you practiced, what happened. Talk to me if you wish. Many blessings. I will see you again on Monday. There will be resonant replays between now and then. Big love. Bye-bye.